Hello there and welcome along to the UAM E1 World Championship presented by PIF, and this really is exciting for round 6 of 7 in 2025. It's the UAM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank, the first time ever that E1 has travelled to the continent of Africa. So we are in Nigeria. It's extremely close in the championship with just 2 rounds to go. Miami will bring the curtain down on the calendar, but it all now is focus on Lagos for round 6. Greg Haynes with you, Shelley Jory-Lee is alongside us, and Saunders CB is down there to get all of the latest for us. But Shelley, here is our course then, our 6th event of the season.
Yes, it is. We've got pretty easy course here in Lagos. It's like a kidney bean shape, and it's 1.2 kilometers the standard lap. As you can see, that's all we do here for qualifying today. So it's going to be long legs, fast, Greg, very fast.
Yeah, I can't wait for this. It's going to be absolutely thrilling, isn't it? So the qualifying time trials coming up first of all, but this is the situation in the standings. Our first racing action this weekend since Monaco way back in July. Look how close it is. Brady leading the way, just 1 sole point ahead of Team Rafa Nadal's team, and they have a new RaceBird as well. We'll talk about that in a moment. The next Steve Aoki's racing there in 3rd place, just 10 points back to them. Blue Rising completing your top 4. And they had an excellent first victory ever last time out in Monte Carlo. So everybody placed into groups. I'm sure you know the drill by now if you've been with us here on E1 for this 2025 season. The second campaign after it all started last year. And it is 1 female and 1 male pilot per team. And they've been placed into groups based on their current championship positions. We've got the qualifying time trials coming up next. At the end of these individual events, we'll be going to the qualifying races later on today when points will be available. So everybody in the milling area where they have to just be very, very careful. They're at slow speeds, as you can see for yourself. We have 18 pilots in total, 2 in each of the 9 teams, and 5 of those 18 are debutants here in E1. We've had a bit of a switch around with some of the competitors doing other events. Katie Munnings, for example, is over in Saudi Arabia with the Extreme E, Extreme H setup going on there. But we're on board with Rafa, and Shelley, this is a new boat for Rafa, so it's feeling a bit unfamiliar to them after the nasty collision we saw on the first race day back in Monaco. So they were very sad, weren't they, to see their original RaceBird basically sinking. They managed to just recover it. But as I say, they're feeling a bit strange with this new boat, I think, so far, both emotionally and physically as well.
Yeah, it's very emotional when you can see your boat slowly sinking away from you, the one that you've sort of dialed in and set up and just know everything about it. This is a one design class, so every single boat is the same. But I'm sorry, Greg, every boat still has its own personality, and it does take time to get used to a new boat. So they have got a big job this weekend, Team Rafa.
That was the Aoki boat we were just on board with there, the RaceBirds as we call them. This is the Drogba RaceBird, and I'm sure Didier Drogba will be here at the event here at the first ever Lagos GP this weekend. It's been a character building start to the season, hasn't it, for Oban Duncan, the youngest pilot in the field at 19 years of age. There is Didier Drogba. He scored a few great goals, hasn't he, in his time, and what are they going to be able to do here? As you said during the track map there, Shelley, it's a relatively straightforward layout, isn't it, here? Beautifully describing it there as a kidney bean shape. We reckon, and talking to most of the pilots and the teams, it should really balance things out. It's less technical than other courses, isn't it? So I reckon we could get some really, really close racing here.
Well, I hope so, because it's like in any motor racing, it's the cornering of your boat, your bike, your car that is where the skill comes into it. And sometimes the sort of more experienced racers, they gain on those corners. Well, we don't have those corners on this course, so I'm hoping it's going to really open up the field, even up the placings for everybody. I bet that this course is a pleasure to drive. You can literally be flat out all the way around, sort of like literally skim it, glide it around those big corners. And you can see here with the the controls in front of us here. What have we got? We've got positive trim there. Yeah, so this is the opposite to normal boat trimming. You actually, when you do your positive trim, you are actually bringing it. Positive trim is giving you less speed, and negative trim is giving you more speed, which is the complete opposite to anyone who drives any other boat. So that makes the RaceBird even more tactical in racing.
Yes, I suppose that's where those of them who are coming in from the world of rally driving or race car driving or whatever, away from the world of boats, is actually maybe a little bit easier, because you don't do any different, do you? Whereas some of the powerboat specialists in the field, they're used to the trim operating the other way around. That must be so strange. That must be like, braking with your right foot and accelerating with the middle pedal in a car.
It's exactly that, So positive trim, when you're trimming out, it's actually giving you more stability, which the RaceBird does need, because you're up on the foils balancing it, but you do lose some speed. So it'll be really interesting to see what the real experienced racers out there do on that big long straight across the back.
Well, I have to say, and you can hear car horns in the background, there's a real fervent atmosphere here at Lagos. You can see the main road there just towards the top of your screen, but would you believe 21 million people living in this part of the world? That is well over double the population of London. Lagos used to be the capital city of Nigeria up to 1991, one of the most densely populated places on the whole of planet Earth, and certainly the reception that E1 has received here so far over the last few days, when banners have been going up, the course has been set up, the smart marks, as you can see for yourself, that's what we refer to them as, the smart marks, the buoys essentially, but they all work with GPS. They've all got individual motors, and so they are positioned in strategic locations to mark out the course, and the excitement levels have really been rising, haven't they, as everything's been put in place over the last few days. It's been a great effort to get this event underway.
Autonomous is the word, Greg. Autonomous buoys. That's GPS what
operated autonomous buoys.
Yes. And it's very funny, because sometimes the GPS does drop out. We have a little buoy that goes rogue, just running off the side there.
Always makes for a good little bit of entertainment for us all, doesn't it, when they go rogue and do a bit of a dance. And there even is an E1, Boys of E1 Instagram page if you're going to have a look at those. But on board now with one of our 5 new pilots, that was Giacomo Sacchi. Now he, I do believe, is an F2 specialist in the world of F2 powerboats, up and coming, and one of the real young talents, Shelley, who I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of in powerboating, and also here in E1, I hope, over the next few years. He's with Team Miami.
Yes, I was with him just a couple of weekends ago in Italy, watching him race F2. So yeah, he's going to be loving this. Completely different ball game for him. Completely. It is slower in speed, without a doubt, but he's now having to fly the boat on the foils. So he is literally, I cannot explain to you how difficult this is. It's actually very hard. You are literally driving a boat and piloting an aircraft all at the same time.
16 minutes to go, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. This is Group 1A for the qualifying time trials, and this is where teamwork really is vital, because at the end of these time trials, when all of the pilots have had a go for each of the teams, remember, 1 female, 1 male per team, they will take their best lap. Each pilot, incidentally, is allowed anything between 1 and 3 laps, and will have a combined average of their bests at the end of these sessions. Just for the record, at the moment, it's Aoki Racing Team with Danny Kloss, the Spanish racing driver, former F1 test driver and GP2 racer, had a very nasty accident actually back in 2010 at Spa in Belgium, damaged a couple of vertebrae, and it really did compromise his racing career. But he's flying at the moment here in E1, and Danny is fastest on a 1:05.2. 8 tenths down is Oban Duncan for Drogba, but we're looking now at Rafa and Chris Lazaraga, the Spanish pilot, making her way down what we're going to call, I think, the back straight, which is coming out of turn 1 here on the Lagos Lagoon. And to her right is Lagos Island, to her left, and now it will be on her right as she rounds the last corner, will be Victoria Island. So we're looking down from Victoria Island. That's Lagos Island in the background there, and we're looking down, incidentally, from the hotel, the Black Diamond Hotel, which is where mission control is. Everybody's staying in the hotel as well. It really has become the headquarters, hasn't it, of E1, if you like, here this weekend. And it's unusual, actually, because with everyone staying in the same hotel, it means all of the pilots, all of the teams, all of the technicians, everyone involved in the series is dining together, eating together, so a lot of conversations being shared, but I guess it's all top secret here, Shelley, as we look down from the 12th story. You can see down to the course, but although they're sat right next to each other here, they're not going to be conversing with one another, are they? It's all top secret stuff between the teams.
Oh, no, definitely no one will converse. It'll be interesting to see if anyone converses when they're sort of like, you know, at the end of the weekend and say, oh, well, we did this and it was this big and that long and so I wonder if that actually all comes out after the race, but at the moment, no, it's heads down and very serious. Techniques and strategy, and because this is such a sort of open, long course with the few corners, the strategy, the prop, it's all going to be very crucial to getting that pole position.
So looking down on the Didier Drogba RaceBird, as you can see, they're off the course now because they're making their way safely back down towards the milling area. At the moment then, Aoki with Danny Kloss are leading the way. Oban Duncan for Drogba is second. Then it's Rafa. Watch out for Rafa with their new boat after the incident back at Monaco. Look how the Aoki boat is moving around underneath the pilot as we now come up to the left-hander at turn one. There's been a fair amount of debris here in the water over the last few days, so I know quite a few of the teams were quite concerned about that and potential damage to the foils. As Shelley said so many times before, look, they're up on the foils now. Completely different, isn't it, to any regular powerboating? They're obviously all electric, these RaceBirds as well, but it's basically a hovercraft, is it not, when you're up on the foils? I mean, you don't want the hull of the boat touching the surface of the water, do you? Otherwise you're losing a lot of time.
Oh yeah, definitely. We want very little surface area in the water. We want to be up on the foils, flying. We want it to go round the corners as smooth as possible, glide it round, don't let it drop, don't let the hull drop. Every time the hull drops, you might as well be putting on the brakes. So every time that hull touches the water.
Wow, so it's almost not quite a dead stop, but that must be so frustrating as well as a pilot when that happens and you lose all of your momentum. This is not as bad as what we saw in Monaco, if you remember back in July, where there was a lot of large ships, ferries, vessels of all kinds coming in and out of the harbour there back in Monte Carlo, and it was causing a lot of weight, wasn't it? A lot of disturbance for all of the E1 competitors, and also the wind picked up dramatically there across the course of the second race day in particular and caused all sorts of issues. As we look down now from the virtual track map, which keeps us up to speed with where everybody is, it's a great way to keep tabs on what's happening, certainly as we get into the second day, because that is when, as Shelley said before, we'll have short and long laps to take into consideration. There's none of that today. This is all the usual race lap, but you can see the long lap in the background there on the left-hand side of your screen where the green smart marks are. That's the long lap, and it's all to do with strategy. And we have already seen a few times earlier this season and last year for that matter, contact made between the RaceBirds when somebody's rejoining from a long lap and another boat is on the main course. Looking down then on Alula, remember we've only had 5 of the teams so far. After this there'll be a short break. You can see there's 11 minutes to go at the bottom of the screen, and there's your situation. 4 teams with no time because they are yet to go out. They'll be in the second group, all determined by the championship situation. It's so close though, isn't it, Shelley? It's on a knife edge. We've got 41 points available here over the entire weekend, so 82 in total when you include Miami. And just looking at those standings, I mean, it's 1 point between Brady and Rafa, 10 points back from the leaders to Aoki, who started the season with a victory back in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, but had quite a lot of misfortune with only a 7th and an 8th in the last 2 rounds. So just as you thought things were looking good for Aoki, it all went pear-shaped. We're with Drogba now, throttle readout, as you can see on the left-hand side, operated by the pilot's right foot. RPM, the trim settings that you were talking about before, Shelley, and the boost strategy we hear is going to be really important as well.
So that position we just had on the boat there, where it was basically, it's the driver's position looking down the sort of bow of the boat. If I can describe that to you, that is like if you had a tray in front of you with a marble on it, you're trying to keep the marble in the center of the tray, and that's what she's doing with the steering wheel all the time. And you can actually see Oban just now. She was actually biting her lip and sort of she wasn't struggling, but the concentration of keeping that RaceBird lovely and level up on the foils, gliding through the water.
We were looking into the eyes just a moment ago of Giacomo Sacchi, the F2 superstar I'm sure he's going to be in the coming years. Actually a Monegasque pilot, even though his name sounds extremely Italian. Of course, we know Italy and Monaco very, very close to each other. He was raised in Monaco, the home of racing, as he's described it on his official profile. And he comes from a family of boat builders. At the age of 16, he said he started racing in the UAM powerboat events in F4, and he's been in endurance racing, circuit series as well. Evolving his skills, he says, and we're on board with him again now to adapt to all conditions. So it's going to be interesting if he has to do that this weekend, because there are still some scattered thunderstorms, we believe, forecast for tomorrow. So we'll have to just see what happens. And we've learned, haven't we, Shelley, from earlier on this season in particular, just as you think there's an established order for a single event, it can all turn on its head. We saw quite a lot of technical problems at Monte Carlo last time out because the conditions were so strong. The RaceBirds really took a beating, but it's easy to forget, isn't it? You know, we've been commentating on a few of these events now. We're only in the second season. This is still all new technology. Debuted, was first tested at Lake Maggiore in Italy in October/November of 2023. You know, we're not even 2 years into this project yet, are we? There's a lot still to learn for everybody.
A lot of development still to do, a lot of R&D, but it's just so great to see this project all come to life after, I think it was 3 years in the making, and some of that time was over the COVID times, which made everything difficult for everybody. So great to see. But yeah, these conditions compared to Monaco are absolutely lovely.
Well, Shelley and I here in the commentary box. Saunders CB, good afternoon to you down in the launch zone. Happy birthday again for Thursday. How's it going down there?
Thank you very much, Greg. Yeah, it's going well. Just interesting observing the RaceBirds doing what they're doing and seeing where the lap time can be found, essentially. And it seems like a couple of them are going through this route of almost going for a smooth on the foils out of the water rather than just full speed, because I guess there is always going to be a limit when it comes to full speed. Going as fast as you can, you're going to get cavitation, these kind of water bubbles that are created in the prop, which kind of mess with the stability. And then if you're messing with the stability, you're coming off the foil and you can get yourself in all sorts of bother. But yeah, top speed is obviously what they want to go for. But as Shelley mentioned earlier, with such little corners here, there really is less to worry about when it comes to that other prop choice. And we mentioned it slightly earlier, you know, about the difference, let's say, to make it easy, small and big prop choice, the bigger one being better for top speed, the smaller one being better for acceleration. This is a course that definitely favours the former with the top speed, but it doesn't come without peril, because all that time is going to be lost when you're slowing down. And we're seeing them trying to find the balance with that at the moment. And I think it's proving with the better times.
It's going to be absolutely compelling, isn't it? They've had to make a prop choice before these qualifying time trials got underway, and Shelley, they'll make another one at the end of the day ready for tomorrow. But it's also top secret, isn't it, as Saunders was saying there. I remember back at Lago Maggiore when I first came to E1 having a look around, everyone's covering up the props, no one wants their rivals to see, nobody wants us, certainly with the TV, to know, in case. I noticed a lot of team members were coming up to Saunders and I in Italy to ask if we'd seen what props their rivals were using. It's so top secret.
It is top secret, and I love the fact that they actually listen to our commentary sometimes to find out what the other teams are all doing, because obviously we have some little inside scoops, not a lot, but a little bit, and we've got obviously an aerial picture of what's going on and how they're handling the course. But yeah, at the end of the day, the idea is not to have the cavitation. The idea is to keep it smooth on the foils, keep the propeller in the water, make the right prop choice so it doesn't cavitate, and that is going to be the winning boat this weekend, because that is like a mill pond out there. As you said, so different from Monaco. Monaco was rough, and it was like, oh gosh, well, it was like the M25 of traffic. It was boats everywhere, big cruisers going in and out. So every time the pilots went out onto the course, it changed.
Team Alula, championed by LeBron James, we were looking at just a moment ago. They're one of the two teams, along with Team Miami, who have 2 new pilots for this weekend. So Katie Munnings, as we said, is out in Saudi Arabia. Rusty Wyatt's not here either. Neria Marti, who's a 23-year-old from just outside Valencia, Spanish racing driver from the W Series and the F1 Academy, she's here. And Andre Solvang as well, who, like Giacomo Sacchi, is an absolute specialist in the world of F2
Keep pushing. This is nice.
power racing. Listen to the team radio communications as well. This is absolutely key now. Keep pushing, Danny. This is nice, they say from Aoki Racing. to Danny Kloss. All seems quite calm, but I bet it's warm in the cockpits. I mean, Saunders, it's easy for me to say in the comfort of an air-conditioned commentary box, but I believe it's quite humid, isn't it, now outside?
It is very humid, and it has been so since about 9 a.m. this morning. It's been, yeah, very, very humid indeed. And of course, that just puts that added level of stress and pressure on these pilots in the cockpit, because they're having to sit in those big race suits in a very hot cockpit and have to perform at such a high level. Yeah, it's just basically a constant barrage of challenges, Greg.
And thank you for that. Current time is 2:45 in the afternoon here, which is the same as the UK, 1 hour behind Central Europe. But look at Aoki telling Danny Kloss on the radio there, they're in constant contact. It's ship to shore that he's well ahead of everybody else. That was their last lap in this session, and well ahead, being 1.4 seconds, a 1:04.6 at the moment then for Danny, former GP2 race winner, multiple former GP2 race winner, and he's done F1 testing as well for Williams, and even did 6 race weekends on the Fridays with HRT back in 2012. Miami now we are watching. So this is going to be an interesting challenge, Shelley, because we don't have Anna Glennon or Eric Stark here. So we know about Giacomo Sacchi, we've talked about him. They also have Patricia Peter, who's a 36-year-old from Uruguay, and basically competing in something like this on water for the very first time. She's a rally driver. This is going to be quite something, isn't it? What a learning process when we see her on board later.
Yeah, it will be a real steep learning curve for her, because yes, she's going to be used to the course, she's going to be used to having instructions thrown into her ear at the speed of knots, but I don't think she's ever had to balance a rally car driver on top of the mud, as it were. So yeah, she needs to have the speed, but glide it gently round the corners and keep it balanced on those foils, which will be a real learning curve for her.
Now, just to stress, there's no championship points available at this point in the proceedings. When we're back on air later for the qualifying races, points will be available 3, 2 and 1 for first, second and third positions. But this is all about those combined average times we mentioned before, and importantly, establishing the lane order, the starting order, when everybody charges down to turn 1, when we're actually racing for the first time. In fact, the sessions you see now are the only times that we won't actually be racing here this weekend. And look how Chris Lagazaraga manages to hook up that RaceBird up on the fills as we look back across the left foil there. As we said before, this is an all-new RaceBird for them. Their original boat was written off essentially when they had that collision with Brazil back at Monte Carlo. You see the green bar, which appears sometimes underneath the team name on the graphic there. So you see the 3 is their current position, team logo, team name of course, and every now and again you'll see a green bar, as you see with Alula, and that is the boost. And boost strategy here is going to be even more vital, probably than anywhere else on the whole calendar actually, in 2025, because of the lack of corners, because we have these 2 straight sections. Certainly from where I'm sitting, Lazarag is looking really comfortable at the moment.
That was a lovely, lovely corner by Chris there. It just glided round and the hull hardly hit the water, which was great. New boat, but very experienced crew.
Just 0.2 of a second down on Oban, Duncan and Drogba for second place. So we've seen Aoki do their 3 laps. They're done in this session. Chris Lagazaraga now has finished. Giacomo Sacchi, the rookie, one of the 5 rookies in the field for Miami, has finished. So just 2 teams now in this first stage, and you're looking at both of them. Drogba, Didier Drogba's outfit at the bottom of the screen. Team Alula at the top, championed by LeBron James. 2nd and 4th at the moment. Oban Duncan coming through to complete the session very shortly. He needs to find about another 1.5 seconds if she is to displace Danny Kloss, which is looking difficult. I have to say, I do love the Alula livery. It's one of the best looking RaceBirds out there, isn't it? With the dark British racing green, as it were, and the gold around the top of the cockpit. Let's see what Alula have managed to do this time. Nerea Marti on board, learning, as we said, all the time, and stays in 4th place. She comes from just outside Valencia, does the 23-year-old, in a town called Albalat del Sorels. Look at the Drogba RaceBird flying along with the youngest pilot in the field on board. Oban Duncan, a big scare for Oban back at Lago Maggiore earlier this season with a big collision, if you remember, off the line into turn 1 with Timmy Hansen. We'll see Timmy out there shortly. How's it looking on board? Doesn't sound too bad. I remember back in Monaco, Shelley, we could hear a lot of the banging noise when you get the water on the bottom of the hull, because it was so bumpy and choppy, wasn't it, in Monaco? Quite smooth here so far in Lagos.
Yeah, it was so choppy, and every time the hulls crashed to the floor, you could just hear the boat being beaten up, and the drivers huffing and puffing, and yeah, it was hard work for them. This is hard work, but on a different level. This is fast and smooth, and it's going to be fast and furious, whereas the other one was sort of like a bit of a...
Danny, quickest out there at the first point of asking so far this weekend. How was it? Seems like quite challenging balance.
Yes, interesting weekend. We started a little bit like that, and yeah, today we got to do very good first lap and a lot better last lap. So happy with the boat, with the performance. Now let's see Michelle. You know, here it's both of us, the ones that we need to do the job. So yeah, we expect good things, hopefully.
With the championship as tight as it is, only 2 rounds to go, that confidence you can get from that first session must go a long way.
Yeah, but it's just the starting of the weekend. You know, at the end, we know what's going on. We know that here the people are very, very quick, very competitive. We are 5 teams, you know, with big challenges and aiming for the title. So, you know, at the end, we have to like keep working, be honest, and do the right things.
You mentioned just a second ago about unique characteristics of the water. Sticky was the word you used. Can you describe what that means?
Well, I mean, we all know, and if you don't know, there is difference in between salty water and sweet water. But also, if you add this type of water that you can see on the cameras that it's a little bit muddy, let's call it like that, it makes the boat feel a little bit more sticky. So there's a lot more friction in that aspect.
Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Saunders. Raijin, incidentally, is the name of the dragon on that RaceBird, the pink and blue, very recognisable RaceBird of Aoki Racing, and that's his teammate, Meshael Alabaidan, getting ready to go. She's not out straight away because we still have another 4 teams we're yet to see. So we've seen 5 teams, 4 teams remain, and then we'll have the switch around when the second pilot, whoever's decided to go second, doesn't have to be female or male first. There's no particular order. They choose that themselves, and we'll see that later on. Interesting words there from Danny, I thought. Shelley, did you understand what he was saying about that, the sort of sticky feeling you have on the water?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I was slightly confused when he was talking about... He's definitely absolutely right. Between the salt water and the fresh water, that does make a huge difference, and we often say that the boats feel like they're sticking to the water when it's not salt, because salt gives you buoyancy, obviously. But I think what he was saying here was that this feels like fresh water. The boats aren't riding above it.
Okay, well, Danny Kloss for now is looking good, isn't it? Ahead of his 27th birthday later on this month, leading the way for Aoki. Then it's Drogba with Oban Duncan. Chris Lazaraga, we thought, looked particularly comfortable, just missed out on second place ahead of Alula and Miami, with Marti and Saki on board, 2 of the 5 rookies in the field this weekend. So now we move to the next group. This has all been predetermined, as I said, at the top by the championship order. They don't put them in championship order in these groups. They try and shake things up a bit as Alula get ready to switch around. It's a test, though, isn't it, for Nerea Marti from Spain and Andre Solvang from Norway. Solvang, F2 powerboat competitor and a very, very capable one as well, whereas Marti, a racing driver. She's done a lot of work with BMW, actually, over the years, all sorts of BMW events, as well as the W Series and the F1 Academy, which has gained great traction, hasn't it, over the last few years, racing on Formula One race weekends on the same circuits in front of all of the F1 drivers and team principals. For Brady, they always seem to be, I don't know what you think, Shelley, but they always seem to be some of the coolest and calmest, don't they, when you go down to the launch zone and you see them, and Emma Kimmelainen and Sam Coleman, they get on very well, which is obviously a very good start, but they never seem to get overly flustered. Sometimes we see other teams getting in a bit of a tizzy, but they never seem to do that, do they? They're always calm and collected, no matter how much frustration there might be.
They certainly are. They're both very experienced drivers. I have seen Emma in a tizzy. I have seen her walk off, not happy, and not at all not at all pleased with the performance of the team, when I don't think it was actually her fault, but I won't go into that now. And Sam Coleman, of course, I've known for many, many years, and yeah, he's, I can tell when Sam is angry and he's just putting on that brave face.
I could also tell how delighted you were when Tom Brady, their team captain, if you like, attended Monaco last time out. You seem particularly pleased with that, Shelley, but maybe we'll talk about that later on. But certainly in Emma's case, she was a big karting fan and wanted to do karting from when she was a kid and pushed her parents and then some to do karting. She was always going to get involved, wasn't she, in some way, shape or form in the world of motor racing. Fascinating to see the inside, the naked boat, as it were, there, just before the bodywork goes on. Look, you can see all of the innings. Of course, the batteries are the heaviest parts of the RaceBirds. They are beautiful looking things, aren't they? As we get back down to Saunders, who I believe is with Roddy Basso.
Roddy, here we find ourselves in a new location again for E1, and these RaceBirds, they've got ability to work in any conditions that are thrown at them, and there's a particular technical innovation that makes that possible. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, first of all, we are super excited about being here in Lagos. I mean, the event now is happening, we made it, and fantastic collaboration with the local stakeholders. In terms of the technology and the boat, you know, this is the meeting point of sailing, motorsport and powerboating. Of course, using the foils, using the electric propulsion and all the intelligence coming from motorsport and the naval architecture from powerboating, we find the sweet spot in order to be able to race in different conditions, in different waters, lakes, rivers and oceans. And this is making the boat a very strong symbol of how water mobility can be in the future.
And of course that has, real-world transferability to marine and leisure and commercial marine, mobility. What might we see in the future?
Well, that's when racing does its job, you know what I mean? We need to be a test bed for understanding technology, engineering integration, to inspire the solution that can affect billions of people's life, you know what I mean? The solutions of the future. So, yeah, I mean, we play this role. We're already talking with a lot of globally technology suppliers who wants to test their technology on our boats. And so this is super exciting for us. It means that we have the right platform for, the mobility of the future again.
Exciting for all involved. Thanks, Roddy.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Roddy. Thank you to Saunders as well. Roddy there, the CEO of E1, and it's extremely exciting. We've seen some great new destinations already this season, and I know plenty of talks are underway for possible new destinations in 2026 as well. So welcome back to Lagos. It is round 6 of 7 in E1 for 2025. The UIM E1 World Championship presented by PIF, and this is UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. The first time ever that E1 has touched down on the continent of Africa. Brilliant reception from all of the locals here. It's been superb so far. Everybody loving their presence here at Lagos. And we've already, if you've just joined us, you've not missed too much, I'm pleased to say. We've already had the first group session for the qualifying time trials, featuring 5 of our 9 teams, and now the other 4 with their first pilot will get going. It's between 1 and 3 laps per pilot, and then they'll all switch around later for their teammates, and we'll have combined best efforts put together to determine the running order for the first racing, and that's the qualifying races later on today, when points will be distributed. Sam Coleman watching on. Emma Kimmerlein and his teammate will be out there on the water here at the Lagos Lagoon. So they are the third team along on our graphics here. But for Blue Rising and John Peters, what a phenomenal charge through the field in one of the events back at Monaco, and he came from the very back to lead by the end of the opening lap. It was sensational. Welcome back, Timmy Hansen with Team Brazil. He wasn't with us last time out. And with Westbrook, that's Will Smith's team. Lucas Ordóñez, the Spanish racing driver, alongside Sarah Price, the American. Lucas, though, will be kicking them off. Into the milling area there now is Lucas Ordóñez, the 40-year-old. Always a smile on his face, always has time to chat and share his love of the E1 series as well as some of his racing memories as well. Sarah, watching on, has a perfect position. The action will begin in just over 1 minute from now. But Lucas, I mean, he's done pretty much everything. The Le Mans 24 Hours, the Blancpain Endurance Series, the Nürburgring 24 Hours. He's raced in the Spa 24 Hours, you name it, and he's done it in terms of endurance racing for cars, and a pretty handy peddler here as well in E1. Westbrook, of course, is the name of Will Smith's Los Angeles-based production company, hence the name. Easy to spot their RaceBird in red. As Sam Coleman watches on here from the 12th story balcony of the Black Diamond Hotel here in Lagos. On Victoria Island, he can see the lagoon with all of the RaceBirds getting ready to go, including his teammate here from Finland, Emma Kymäläinen, who, as we said before, certainly wanted to do go-karting when she was younger, and it looks as though Emma will be away first for her qualifying time trial here. Anything between 1 and 3 laps, they'll always aim for the 3. I think she might have actually gone a little bit too soon there, because the countdown is still on 10 seconds.
Brazil on the inside, move left, move left, move left, move left. Go, 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 please, 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 please.
Okay, go now, but Emma has clearly lost momentum, and Brazil are going to come up charging through with Timmy Hansen, who's back in action. So hello again to you, Timmy, the 33-year-old from Sweden who missed Monaco because he was racing in the World Rallycross Championship in Hungary, and incidentally a champion himself back in 2019. But a bit of confusion already, Shelley, we're barely underway.
Well, it looks like they're racing now, so quite honestly, these laps really are both a complete waste of time, because this isn't about racing, this is about doing the fastest lap. So Team Brady are now in dirty water behind, which is just kind of useless. So I'm not sure if she's actually pulling off now and deciding to abort that lap, which is definitely the best thing to do, because complete waste of time if you're trying to do a qualifying lap as with traffic.
Well, we heard the radio, didn't we? It was either a miscommunication from the team or...
the good thing is that the fastest lap last session was not the first lap, so still to play for.
Or Emma went too soon, but indeed, still to play for, guys and girls, at Brady, but not exactly what they wanted for the championship leaders. They have a 1-point advantage at the moment over Rafa, as Timmy Hansen comes shooting along for Brazil. He's used all of his boost. He's backing out of that now because he's crossed the line on a 1:07.0, so not a bad first run at all then for Marcelo Clauret's Team Brazil, although I say that, their facial expressions aren't really backing up what I thought. They obviously know they can go quicker than that. Westbrook, by the looks of things, will be next with Lucas Ordóñez. And you can see it's a relatively straightforward layout. If you were with us for the Lago Maggiore GP earlier on in the season, we had very much a triangular layout there of left, right, left, all the way back to the start line. This is very much an oval configuration here, so it should balance things out. You saw that Lucas was on the boost there. The green bar on the graphic was decreasing. That then resets. So more or less, if you use, let's say, 3 seconds of boost, it'll take double that time to reset and get it back again. As he comes up to the boys, the smart marks, matching the colour of his RaceBird through turn 1, heading back now down towards the second part of the lap with the Black Diamond Hotel off to his left. That's the Lagos Island in the background, and then Banana Island just a little bit further up here within this huge lagoon in the south of Nigeria. So Shelley, it looks as though he's using all of the boost. The boost has gone now, so we'll have to get off the button and let that recharge. But that makes perfect sense because he's coming up to the left-hander. Let's see what he can do. There's Sarah Price watching on, very close to the water's edge. You can see those who were already in the first group on the left-hand side of your screen. And this is all now combining the standings. So this is where we're going to have the times all combining for the first time to see who's mixing it with the 5 who went
that was
initially.
A good lap, buddy. That was a 1:04.265. A 1:04.265. That was a quick lap. So that puts us in first place currently. Second is Brazil with a 1:07. Nice one.
Sarah looks pleased.
Yeah.
She looks pleased, and Lucas seemed to shake his head a bit, as if to say, oh, you know, I'm in the lead, but it's still not good enough. Maybe he thinks he's got more.
Guy Barron, incidentally, is not here this weekend with Westbrook Racing. He's busy down in the south of France with another event, but you heard Phil Allen there, I believe, on the radio, one of the team principals, and very pleased with the fastest time we've seen so far, even quicker than what Danny Kloss did in the first session. So Danny Cost did a 104.6, and now we've had a 104.2. So that's a big chunk already, isn't it? Early doors in the weekend, 4 tenths quicker. Blue Rising in the meantime with John Peters aborted their first run, so a bit of a mess for Brady and Blue Rising. Certainly Westbrook in Brazil got away cleanly. Let's see what Emma can do this time, Shelley. She went a little bit too soon, had to get off the throttle, lost time. The team watching on board now with Emma, and it's just not looking overly comfortable at all. No, she's all over the place. This is a struggle so far.
Yeah, that certainly did, and you could even hear her there struggling. I'm not quite sure what is going on there, but she is. It's very off-putting when you're basically ruffled right at the beginning of a session and told to sort of abort your lap. That's not great. She needs to reset, refocus, and get back on it.
Had a good run as well, haven't they, over the last 3 events, with 3 podiums, a second, a win at Maggiore, second with the fastest lap of the event at Monte Carlo last time out, to back up a couple of 5ths, and that consistency is what puts the reigning champions Brady in the current championship lead, but only 1 point ahead of Rafa. So as you can see on the left-hand side, that's the combined standing so far. So the first 5 teams went out, now the remaining 4 teams are out with their first pilots, and this is where things start to get mixed up. So for instance, Westbrook are down there on the water at the moment. They are quickest by 4 tenths from Aoki, who led the way in the first session. Now just listen to this, this is from just a moment ago.
I made a mistake in B corner, so I can improve that time. B corner, I dropped on the poise a little bit.
Yeah, we saw. Regardless, that was a really awesome lap. That puts us in first place currently for the whole day.
Really fascinating to listen in there to Phil Allen, and also, of course, to the pilot, Lucas Ordóñez. So he said, Shelley, he made a mistake, but they're still the fastest of the day so far by 4 tenths of a second. So we obviously are not too far off, I would imagine, if the conditions stay the same, from the first sub 104 lap time, and I wouldn't be surprised if it comes from Westbrook at some point.
Yeah, he was saying that he dropped the foil into the corner, so basically he took the corner a little bit too tight, dropped his foil in, the boat went off level, planing as it were, and he lost speed. So that's exactly what we were saying.
Was that correct?
We wanted to glide around the corners level on 2 foils with that marble in the middle of the tray.
Yeah, it's 42, 43 kph, and I believe that having too much boost is just pushing the nose right over.
Now that is very telling, isn't it, from John Peters? Extremely experienced, entertaining both on the water and off it. We were talking about boost strategy, but he was saying using it too much is actually changing the pitch of the RaceBird. So that's something we didn't think about before. I think he was saying that the bow was dipping when he had the boost on.
That's you've got too much power. You're trying too hard, and you're losing speed.
So it must be a fine balance then between the throttle and the boost and knowing where you're going next.
That's exactly what racing boats on water is all about. Powerboat racing, E1 RaceBirds. This is the same concept all over. If you push too hard, if you trim out and you push a boat too hard, you'll lose speed. In this case, if you trim in and push the boat too hard and boost at the same time, too much power, bow drops.
So we're watching the spectacular Timmy Hansen, the 2019 FIA World Rallycross champion. An amazing season when he actually finished, would you believe, level on points with Andreas Baccarud, but he had more wins across the season and therefore won it. He's with Team Brazil here, run by Marcelo Clara, the entrepreneur. And as they now come up to the left-hander at turn 1, what are they doing in terms of time? He's on a 104.8 at the moment. Half a second down on Lucas Ordóñez in this particular session, and that now updates, as you can see on the combined times. He's up into 3rd overall. This is absolutely crucial for the qualifying races later on, because the top 5 will be into the qualifying race, which actually gives out championship points, and the rest of the field will be fighting for positions 6, 7, 8 and 9. There won't be points available for those, but they will be vying for lane position for the all-important group stages here on Sunday morning. Now, this is it. This is make or break time, isn't it? for Brady, because they are leading this championship. There's no points available now, but they've got to get themselves in a good lane position for when points are available later on. So 2 more laps available for Emma Kymäläinen. Let's see what she can do up to the left-hander at turn 1. Oh, she's got the timing right this time. She went too soon, didn't she, first time round? Sam looks a lot more confident. This is where she was uncomfortable last time, Shelley. That feels better, but it doesn't look great, though, does it?
That didn't look great, but then we've just heard on the radio, great start. So maybe they've got a different strategy.
What's up here then, because the conditions don't seem to have dramatically changed from when we got going before. So is it prop choice? Is it something with the setup of the race? But in another big moment there, that was a massive moment. Look at that. Oh, and I think there's damage as well. I don't know whether they're going to have to stop the session here, because we've got a stranded RaceBird out there on the water. Emma got away with it. I think I heard her say the rear end broke. It almost went sideways, I noticed there, Shelley. She was in a ball of spray. The team definitely panicked. Yeah, Emma ain't going nowhere. This is big drama already then for our championship leaders.
Huge drama, and that is Sam being angry, by the way. That's a cool Sam Coleman, not happy. Emma looked very confused there. She just didn't know quite what had happened. So I would say we've got a prop problem, a gearbox problem. Something's gone at the back, which basically makes the boat lose control. And kind of, we call it a hook. So she's dropped.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And she's nosedived as well. Something has definitely let go there to make that boat do that. So it'll be very interesting to see when we crane the RaceBird out to see what has happened there. I would hazard to say that there is something to do with the engine in the back.
Sure enough, the red flag is out. The session has been stopped while they get this RaceBird towed in. Let's just listen. Oh, that was a big shot, wasn't it?
The rear end broke.
The rear end broke, says Emma Kymäläinen. Copy comes the message from the team. Well, she seems to have been struggling all through the session so far. Just makes you wonder whether that was already starting to play up, doesn't it, as we got going, because that was a session very unlike Emma, to be quite honest with you. So that makes sense now. There was clearly something not right on the back of that particular RaceBird. Look at Sam's face. That's the most dejected, I think, I've ever seen him. Only met him this year. Shelley, you've known him for a lot longer, but he's usually so cool and calm and collected. Not at the moment.
And his teammates there are both from F1, F1 engineers, so very experienced team there. They would have been wanting to make the points count this weekend so that they could have gone into the final race with a strong lead. They haven't got a lead at the moment. They've got a 1-point lead, which could go anywhere. So, yeah, very, very interesting to see what's happened here. I don't know what I want to put my money on. Gearbox, propeller, something. Oh, Sam's having a laugh at the moment. I think he's got... What else can he do?
Yeah, there's no point feeling too down about it. There seems to be a curse, doesn't it, on whoever is the championship leader at the moment. Wherever we go, wherever it's Lago Maggiore or Monte Carlo last time out, the championship leaders switched by the time we get through to the end of the event. And like you say, with only 1 point between Brady and Rafa, 10 points from the leaders back to third, and Team Blue Rising, who won for the first time in Monaco, they're only 21 points off the leaders. Anything can change. I mean, what is it? 41 points for a whole weekend, and the very popular jet skis are out there again. We saw this at Monaco last time, didn't we?
Yeah, that's our safety team coming out to rescue them and pull them back. So if she's lost all power completely there, I'm wondering if there was some damage from Monaco, because as we keep saying, it was rough conditions, lots of traffic, boats were slamming about. I think there could be some damage there that has now come back to bite them.
Yeah, and we've heard there's quite a lot of debris around here as well, but Saunders has got the latest for us, and he's down in the launch zone.
Sarah, so while we wait to find out what happened with Team Brady and the red flag goes, as it stands, Team Westbrook looking fastest out on the water in this session. Anything you've heard back from Lucas about how it's going?
Lucas is super pumped. We've been fast today, so I'm really happy about that. Now, you know, the pressure's on for me to go out there and hold up my end of the bargain. But we did just have a battery fail, so he just reset it, and that's fine. But hopefully there's no problems that persist that ruined my run, and hopefully the boat's good. But we already have that lap in the bag. I think he still has one more lap to go, and hopefully he can get some more time on there. I'm so proud of him. Our team just, you know, it's awesome. This has been a tough year for us. It started out last year, we were flying and we were just on top of it. And this year it's just been a battle, and we've had a lot of boat issues, and now we're coming back.
Give us a sense of the different challenges that a course like this throws upon you, because, you know, even though on the surface it feels like it's fast, it feels like it's flat, there's a lot more going on, isn't there?
Oh, it is so finicky in the boat. You know, we're watching right now, there's a lot of wind, there's some waves. You want to be out there on the first lap, but then everyone starts to fight for that lap. And, you know, sometimes you waste a lap because you're trying just to get that first position on track. And so, yeah, there's a lot of little things that can upset the RaceBird, especially the wind and the waves right now. You know, it's kind of luck of the draw if you get a smooth lap, and that's what we all want.
Always an art of balance, isn't it, in E1? And now looking ahead, thinking about when it comes to racing, getting caught in the wake of the boat in front is going to be even more punishing than it usually is here with so much top speed.
100%. You never want to be in dirty water. If you can avoid it, that is the ultimate goal. But in racing, sometimes you can't avoid that, right? And so right now, we just want to qualify well. We haven't had a fast qualifier this whole year, and so we would love to just be able to clench that. And so hopefully it's all good. Seabirds collecting behind us, so hopefully there's no real issues, and yeah, we can get going.
Well, so far so good at getting that fast lap. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Saunders. Thanks, Sarah, the 33-year-old there from Riverside, California, on board now with her Spanish teammate Lucas Ordóñez, chatting with the team.
Copy.
So we just caught the end of that communication. They said it's totally up to you, your decision.
Lucas, just the green flag symbol will go up on your dashboard probably quicker than we can tell you on the radio, so don't wait for the vocal.
Yes, copy.
So what the team are referring to there is the dashboard, which is basically either side of our camera. So he's got two different screens. One of them is related to the operation of his boat, his RaceBird, all of the relevant information that Shelley was talking about before, which we can also sometimes see on our TV graphics, the trim position, the RPM, the speed you are doing, the angle of the steering wheel, all sorts of different stuff is on there. And on the other screen, he's got
Lucas,
the actual race information.
They are going to give us a yellow flag, so 30 seconds to go. And then obviously the green flag, so you'll have time to know when to go.
And the information Lucas can see on that screen is that we had a short delay to the session by 5 minutes. Then the red flag came out at 15:20:41 local time, and that's the latest we have on our screen. And now full course yellow flashes up on our screen. So does that mean the session's back underway? Yes, it does, because the red flag has gone, I can tell you. Full course yellow, but now the clock is counting down again. Just over 4 minutes to go, and Lucas needs to get on with this because he's only got one lap in so far, which is the same situation for Emma and Brady as well. So Ordóñez is currently leading this session, but on the combined timesheets, he's got that 1:04.2, but he knows he can go quicker, and here we go again, and we've got a bit of a race on our hands again with Westbrook on the inside line with Lucas Ordóñez, Brazil on the outside with Timmy Hansen. We've seen all this before.
Complete waste of time.
So why are they doing it then?
I don't know, Greg, but why go on a qualifying lap with traffic?
Well, now they're both going to have to back out of it, aren't they? Otherwise they're going to run into each other if they're not careful. Oh, there's Brazil on the right-hand side of the screen. And the visibility is not particularly good, as you can see for yourself. Westbrook need to get 2 laps in. Brazil are on their last lap now.
This could be very tactical because they know that Westbrook's got to get 2 laps in. So Brazil were like, go with him, because you're going to muck up one of his laps. So I think there could be some clever strategy there.
Really? Do you reckon that's the kind of thing they'd be thinking?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm loving it. It's going to get a little bit controversial then, is it not? Westbrook, look, there they are, right in front of us. They're actually off the course at the moment. On board again with Lucas.
Left foil. hit something on the left foil.
I hit something on the left foil.
I'm gonna reverse on million area.
Well, I remember describing Monaco as a boat breaker. It might be a similar situation here in Lagos as well. I've got a funny feeling the championship standings are going to look very different again by the time we head to Miami in November. Talking of, no, Brazil stopping now as well. So Brazil have got their time and they've got their 3 laps done. So that would make sense. Timmy Hansen in second place, which puts them 3rd overall, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. And the reason you have a line there between Rafa and Blue Rising in 5th and 6th is because of the qualifying races they would be in later on. The top 5 in those qualifying races will be contending for points. The rest of them will only be contending for lane positions moving into the group stages here on Sunday morning. Okay, let's rejoin the action with Team Blue Rising. So Westbrook at the moment have only done 1 lap. Brazil have finished. 1 lap also for Emma Kimmelainen and Brady. And now this is going to be the last run for John Peters and Blue Rising, who, as we said before, had that magnificent first win ever for Virat Kohli's team. Last time out 3 months ago, back in the harbour of Monte Carlo in July. And this man, John Peters, we couldn't believe it, could we? He had a poor start to one of the races there, and he'd already taken the lead. He carved through like a knife through butter on the entire field to lead by the end of the opening lap. Certainly one of the most sensational laps we've seen in nearly 2 full seasons of E1 thus far. How's he getting on? We're looking at the sector times as he comes up towards the halfway point. This is his last lap, and look, the team's looking on the live timing there on the Al Kamal system as well, just as we are on our monitors here in the commentary box. He's 3rd at the moment, but that's in this session, so this is absolutely critical if he can get through into that overall top 5. As you can see, he needs to find about 0.8 of a second. That's only in relation with Rafa, and then later on when the second pilots go out, we'll start taking into consideration the average times. Push, 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 they say, from Team Blue Rising. Is it enough to move into that top 5 as he comes towards the line?
Clearance.
It's
nice
not.
Getting clearance to go straight to launch zone. Go straight to the launch zone.
3rd in this session for John Peters, and Team Blue Rising is 6th overall. Oh dear, if a picture could tell the story there, it definitely did, with the facial expressions of John Peters. And incidentally, you heard his teammate chatting with him. That was 27-year-old Sarah Mizir from Jamaica. So we have an American pilot and the Jamaican pilot in that team. Right, Lucas, here you go again. And we're running out of time here because he's got 2 more laps, but he's not going to get another 2 laps because we've only got half a minute left on the clock, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. So down into turn 1, as we look down from the visual track map, which uses all of the live GPS coordinates. He's on the boost look now as he comes out of turn 1. I wonder how he's getting on this time.
But he's actually done enough already, Greg, because he's already in the lead. So in my eyes, he doesn't actually have to do this because everyone's done their 3 laps. I don't think we're going to see Emma Kimmelainen back out, bless her.
No.
So I'm not sure he actually needs to do this one, but let's see if he can even better his time.
Yeah, that's the point, I think, isn't it, with Emma Kimmelainen not going back out. They are the championship leaders.
All right, Lucas, as you come round, we're going to head back to the launch zone, so slow down after you cross the line.
You can hear Phil from the team chatting with Lucas. He's 3/10 up, and don't forget, we need to take into consideration the combined average time. So if he can lower this time, it's going to be good news. Over the line he goes.
He has lowered his time by a second. He's
awesome
gone
job,
to
Lucas. That was
0.03, so great
Well done.
job there for Lucas. Fantastic.
Haha, look how pleased he is with himself, the 40-year-old from Spain. Sarah Price as well knows, because that makes her job easier now, doesn't it? The lower his time is, the better it is for her.
I don't know what's going on with the radio now.
Lucas, what a great run there, the first into the 2:03s. We could see how pleased you were when you crossed the line.
You just drove the line. Actually, the first straight didn't look great, but let's digest it before when you get short.
Let's try again. Lucas Ordonez, Greg in the commentary box, the first into the 1:03s. We could see how pleased you were there.
Empty course, it's always key.
Lucas doing a very good job of multitasking there by answering our question and talking with the team at the same time. He's very pleased with that, isn't he? He can get very wound up at times, Lucas, in a good way. It's all through passion, but I know how much it means to him. And look, his teammate, Sarah Price, coming straight in for a chat. This is the debrief, isn't it, Shelley? Because she knows she'll be out there shortly. Not the very next session, but the one after that. See the names of the pilots on the right-hand side of the cockpit there. And the first then, this weekend at the Lagos GP here in E1, with only 2 rounds to go to get down into the 1:03 lap times. In some ways, they're the outsiders, aren't they? They're 5th in the standings, but don't forget, there's still 82 points available, maximum from here and Miami. Okay, Saunders is with Timmy Hansen.
Timmy, it's not every day that we see 2 RaceBirds and 2 pilots battling into the first quarter in qualifying, but today a different story. But again, shows you how crucial it is to get that clean water.
Exactly. We all know that after a break, the water kind of settles down here, and you have that one magic lap to do it. I don't know if it was probably the right choice to go battling, because I lost more time than we gained by the water, but you know, I won both races down to the first corner, so that's at least a personal win. Other than that, I think we lost time doing it, and Lucas put in a great lap, so he was quick at this session. I think we are looking strong though. I didn't do my best lap. I was about 2 seconds down on my practice lap, so not the cleanest of qualifyings, I would say. We have more in the bag, but Eva is coming up, so maybe she can climb us a couple more steps.
It was just 8/10 in it in the end. It shows you how fine the margins are here on this course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really simple course. You go a long straight this way and a long straight that way, but with the RaceBird, it's super tricky when you go fast to hold it on the tips of the foils. Like, you have almost no boat left in the water and you go maximum speed. So that is very hard. I mean, it is close at the very top, but we also see a big spread, and that's as soon as you drop it once, you're losing seconds. So it's really about all those fine details, like carrying the boat down the straight is not as easy as it looks.
You've done your bit, now time for Eva. Thanks, Timmy.
Thank you.
Fascinating, such fine margins. Thank you very much indeed, Saunders and Timmy. Yes, it's close. It's going to be mighty close, but the slightest of errors and you are down the back of the field here at Lagos.
event.
So through 2 of the qualifying time trials races so far, the first pilot of each team has been out there. Next we'll see the second pilot, and then the combined best times will be put together. And at the moment, after that first stint, it's Westbrook leading the way. But the big story really is not even second or third positions, it's all the way down in 7th position, because Tom Brady's team are struggling. We've already seen a problem at the rear of the RaceBird, and it flipped right up onto its left foil for Emma Kimalainen. Are they even going to get back out for the next action? Hopefully for their sake they will, because they need to be in that combined top 5 to have a chance of scoring points in our first racing action of the weekend, the qualifying races. We've got another slight delay of 3 minutes, so the next session will start at 15:43, I can tell you local time, which is 3 minutes from now. So the qualifying time trials continue here at this spectacular setting here down in Nigeria. It's the UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. And the big story is that Brady, the championship leaders, are struggling. They've had some technical problems so far. We don't know exactly what's happened. Also, we suspected a bit of damage to the left foil as well of Westbrook, but Lucas Ordonez seemed to sort himself out and is fastest at this point. Now for the first time today, we see the second pilot that's been nominated for each of the teams. So Tom Schaap for Rafa, they're in a good position to take the championship lead later, aren't they, in the qualifying races. First action we'll see for him since the weekend in which he had that big collision back at Monaco. Drogba out there with Micah Wilkinson. Patricia Peter is a newcomer for Miami, as is Andre Solvang for Alula. And Mashael Alawidan will be out there for Aoki. So a further delay as we look at Chris Lazaraga. The new start time is 15:46 local time here, which is just under 5 minutes from now. And we already have now the momentum beginning to go in one way or another, because the first pilots have been out there and put their times in. So it gives the second pilots an opportunity to know, do I need to go even quicker than usual, or can I be slightly cautious? I don't think anybody, quite frankly, can be cautious at all at this point in the proceedings. Westbrook certainly there with Lucas Ordonez are looking very good. We've just seen the first sub 104 lap time. So a 103.9 for Lucas at the moment, and Westbrook are leading on the combined timesheets. The pink and blue RaceBird, which you see there positioned at the front of the pack, that's Aoki Racing with Mashael Alawidan going out, the Saudi Arabian pilot this time. We are on board with her now, but they're 0.7 of a second down on Lucas Ordonez. Lucas, I have to say, is so good at adapting to new courses and different circumstances. We've seen that in practice sessions for Lucas earlier on in the season. Mashael has had a very solid campaign. The only real mistake I can remember is when she went in the wrong direction of the course, not the wrong direction, but took a shortcut unintentionally back at Lago Maggiore in Italy, but that's all in the past now. They are third in the championship and only 10 points behind. They've actually won 2 of the events so far. The only team, Aoki, to have won 2 of the 5 events so far this season. They led the standings after winning at round 1 in Jeddah. They won again at Dubrovnik in Croatia when they also took the fastest lap. A second between them at Doha, but really they've lost their points advantage over the last 2 events with only 7th and 8th places. There was a collision at one of those events as well, if you remember, back at Lago Maggiore, and also a technical problem which took them out of a strong position when Danny Kloss was at the helm last time out in Monaco, when the bad weather conditions were really giving the boats a battering. Right behind is Miami with Patricia Peter on board. Now that's one of the exciting new 5 rookies in the field. The 36-year-old from Uruguay is actually a rally driver. That's the blue boat you see, the blue RaceBird on the left-hand side of your screen. The first person ever from Uruguay to compete in the Dakar Rally, and the first female driver to compete in the Rally of Uruguay. So let's see how she fares here, with, I think, some more surprises ahead of us. This is Rafa. This is a new boat. Tom Schaap we are with, the French pilot. Big collision, wasn't it, last time out in Monte Carlo, and then the boat started to sink. We chatted about it earlier on. They were very, very emotional. They had to use a spare boat at Monte Carlo, so another change for them with this new vessel here at Lagos for round 6. Only one event remaining in E1 this season after this, when we head to Miami, and what a finale, what a championship finale I'm sure that is going to be. Rafa Nadal, I do feel when he was at Monte Carlo, Shelley, last time out, he was a real calming influence for Chris and for Tom, because it was a real moment of crisis, and he was just there to keep everything in perspective, wasn't he? He didn't get flustered at all, and it seemed to make a big difference, actually, to the whole team.
Well, he's a true pro sportsman, isn't he? I'm sure he's had some moments when I'm not sure he gets quite as upset if he breaks a string on his racket, but yeah, definitely he was very supportive to the team, and you could see that how concerned even he was. It was really, really great to see. I did feel sorry for them, and actually, well, Tom Schaap actually had to sort of abort the boat and jump into the water, didn't he, and be rescued by one of the jet skis.
Yeah, it was all documented in our Champions of the Water series, which you can see on the E1 YouTube channel, and it just so happened that Rafa with the team we were profiling that weekend back at E1 Monaco. Great reception though from all of the locals here in Nigeria. There are banners for E1 all over the city here in Lagos, and certainly the first event of this kind they have ever seen here in this part of the world. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant that we're breaking new ground, we're coming to new places, we've come to a new continent. And as Roddy Basso, the CEO of E1, said to Saunders earlier on, you can't really call it a World Series until you go to the African continent, and there's the answer. I haven't even asked the question, I've already got the answer. Who's going to go first? The answer is Rafa. Drogba are trying to go with them. No, they've ditched out of it. So they've seen that Rafa have gone first and want some clear space. So they go back to the milling area. Here we go with Rafa. This is absolutely crucial now. 1 point behind for leadership of the series as we get away. The clock's counting down. 3, 2, 1. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. Yes, perfect start for Rafa. Nice clear space in front of them. On the boost, up to turn 1. Here we go. This is with Tom Schaap, the French pilot, on board. Very, very experienced, certainly knows what he's doing. Had that nasty shock in Monaco with a big, big impact on his left-hand side with Brazil, as he makes his way down through turn 1. They're challenging Brady, don't forget, for the championship lead. That was perfectly executed there down through turn 1. Okay, Saunders, Rafa we're watching, and of course it's Brady, they're only 1 point behind, but we've seen all sorts of issues for Brady so far.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, let's talk to Emma, who was in the cockpit at the time. Now, we were just talking about that, the feeling and the sensation of having there, effectively losing your gearbox and completely losing all power. What can you tell us about the update now?
Yeah, well, we're changing basically the whole rear end of the boat, and yeah, hopefully we will get it ready for the qualification race. We're obviously starting last there, but you know, we are used to setbacks, and we've bounced back before as well, so nothing is lost yet.
So we're seeing pictures of the work going on behind the RaceBird now. That's effectively changing almost the whole rear end, isn't it, to get it back on the water?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's many people working, which we're very grateful for, and yeah, everyone is doing absolutely their best to be able to get the boat in the water. And yeah, it was pretty crazy sensation, to be honest. Like, I haven't experienced anything like that, and I haven't seen another RaceBird act like that, so that he wants to roll sideways, but also like towards the front. And that was probably the closest call that we've had rolling the boat over. And yeah, I was definitely going through all the safety features, like, you know, where do I get the regulator, where's the air, and how do I open the hatch once again, and, you know, going through all the training that we've done already. But yeah, then I was able to kind of like do the last maneuvers to get it just leveled again, and whew, I felt safe after that.
Well, thankfully you didn't roll it, and hope, fingers crossed, that you can get back out there as soon as possible. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you. Well, look at all the people working. I'm sure that we're going to get to the race.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. We'll try to bounce back, and as you know, Saunders, people do bounce back, so we'll keep an eye on that. But I have to say, Shelley, well done, because you called that. You said, I fear it might be a gearbox issue, and that's exactly what Emma's just confirmed to Saunders. How did you know that?
I'm not an expert pundit for nothing.
Okay, well, they'll get that sorted. At least they know what it is, don't they? Because that uncertainty initially of not knowing before they got that boat craned out of the water must have been a bit of a horrible feeling. But at least they know what the situation is. Now, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, Shelley's still smiling away about that one, beautifully called. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the numbers have gone green, look, for the top two, because officially in these qualifying time trials, you are not classified until each of your two pilots has got a time in. So Rafa at the moment and Drogba are first and second. They are the first of our 9 teams to have got laps in with each of the 2 pilots. This is the first time now we're seeing the second pilots head out there. So who's out there right now? It's Rafa with Tom Schaap from France, Michael Wilkinson from New Zealand for Drogba. Alula is Andre Solvang from Norway, and there he is, making his debut in E1 here in Lagos this weekend. Mashael Alabaidan, we talked about her before, yet to get a time in. The same goes for Patricia Peter for Miami. There she is, blasting away down the back straight, the 36-year-old from Uruguay, the rally driver. And here we are for the first time on board then with Patricia. Seems very cool and calm indeed, doesn't she? But this is a completely new challenge for her, trading in a rally car for one of these E1 RaceBirds.
But look at the concentration in her eyes there. She's dug that in a little bit deep there, but as I said, you know, she's done some training here, but again, it's like everything. When you're on the day, under the pressure, you've got to pull it all out of the bag.
Let's go to milling, let's go to milling.
She's going back to milling now, so they can have probably a little debrief on how that lap went with her. But not bad at all. What has she got? She's got a 1:12. Definitely off the pace there, but room for improvement.
Yeah, you've absolutely got to start somewhere, haven't you? It was quite a late entry for her as well. You can hear the voices of either Dan Gill or of David McDonald coming through on the team radio from Mark Anthony's Team Miami, powered by Magnus. Now we're back on board with Aoki Racing. Look how focused Mashael is at this moment. She knows that Danny Kloss, her teammate, put in a relatively solid first effort, so it makes her life a little bit easier. But let's see as the blue goes to green when she comes back towards the line this time. Look at that, look, combined standing straight up into second place then with the combined efforts of Danny Kloss from Barcelona,
okay, Marshall, now we go wide,
from Saudi Arabia.
Go back to milling. That was a 0.8. So let's try that again. Sorry for the confusion in the beginning.
1 lap down, 2 to go of her 3 in total. Sorry for the confusion in the beginning there, was the message from the team. So clearly something tactically, Shelley, I guess, was a bit awry at the start of that one, but they've seemingly got it back together. If that was one with a bit of confusion, I'd like to see what happens when there's no confusion later, because they're going quite quickly already, but they know they could do better, because Mashael is only 4th in this particular session of the 5 RaceBirds who are out there. Here's Michael Wilkinson from New Zealand with Drogba. Oban Duncan, his teammate. Oban is at 19, the youngest pilot in the field. Micah here at 29 years of age. Oh, it sounds to me as though the conditions are worsening a little bit, unless he's just taking a tighter line.
He certainly looked like he was struggling with the wheel there, which you would think in these conditions you wouldn't need to do. It should be sort of very, very smooth, and you should be gliding it round those points, unless you have an incident like Emma, where you can see she was clearly battling with the steering wheel to try and get the boat to balance the other way and save it from hooking. Actually, she did a great job.
Micah, when he does apply the boost, which he'll be doing here coming out of the last corner, will be doing that with a purple button on the top right of his steering wheel. It can last for up to 20 seconds. But new for 2025 is that you don't have to use all of the boost in one go. You can use it intermittently. They are 3rd in the combined timings, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. 2nd in this session.
108, pretty slow 2nd sector.
So that was a slow 2nd sector we heard there from the radio. So not quite up to it. 108 again, yeah, definitely off the pace, so room for improvement there. Tom Schaap here now with the team Rafa.
He's on the boost. You see the green bar decreasing underneath the team name. Okay, let's see what they can do. Rafa have done 2 laps so far. Chris Lazaraga, who popped into the commentary box with Saunders and I back at Laga Maggiore a couple of rounds ago. She's not completely calm, is she? As she watches Tom out on the water. She's got the timing screens on her phone there. How's your French? Can't believe we both said it at the same time. If anyone's watching who understands French, by all means, let us know. Alula get going. I can't believe we both said that at exactly the same time. Alula get going. They're 3rd at the moment in this session. They've got a little bit of work to do, not their 4th on the combined timesheets. Don't forget, this is one of 2 teams with a totally new lineup. No Katie Munnings here. She's busy in Saudi Arabia with Extreme E/Extreme H. Rusty Wyatt is otherwise engaged as well. So Nerea Marti is one of the pilots here this weekend. And this is Andre Solvang we're watching now. Just 21 years of age from F2 powerboating. And I think he's a big star of the future, isn't he?
Yeah, very big star of the future and very used to racing in his F2 powerboat, but not quite getting to grips with the RaceBird here at the moment. We saw at the top corner there, he really sort of slammed it down into the water and the hull hit the water, which would have dragged a lot of speed off. But as we keep saying, you can be the most experienced powerboater racer in the world and come from all of the other classes, but the RaceBird is so unique. It is a completely different technique and a real skill to fly and race at the same time.
And that puts Andre up into 2nd in this particular session. So their average comes down now to 0.248. So just shy of 2.5 seconds off the overall average best of Rafa, who, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, are leading the way on a 106.4. But certainly Andre, he's used to being on the water because, would you believe, away from his racing, he's spending time working at sea, and he's recently completed his studies to become a ship captain. Now working as a cadet officer on the world's largest cruise ship with a car deck, he's been telling us.
Well, actually, yes. I mean, I know Andre from other series, and he's actually going to be a cruise ship captain. That's going to be a little bit more sedate for him.
I hope it'll be a bit calmer for the sake of the passengers, Shelley, in comparison with what we've seen here so far. As we look down from the drone at Aoki, who've led this championship already earlier on in the season. Danny Kloss watching on, and he's not filming it. He's looking at the timing screen information for Mashaya. We'll have to see how she's fared after the first sector as we come down through the left-hander at turn 1. It was a 20.5 through sector 1, which I'd say is solid, but certainly not the best we've seen so far by at least 1 second. If you compare that with what we're seeing from the likes of Tom Schaap earlier on in the session, oh, it doesn't sound very comfortable, does it?
No, that's not good. That is not what we want to see, where the boat is porpoising and landing in the water. You can see Michelle struggling slightly there, talking to her team. That completely lost its balance and lost that smooth gliding experience. Oh, he's filming there now.
He is filming it.
Hopefully they can watch that back.
Boost if you have. Come on, push it over the finish line. Come on.
Boost if you have any left, and she does indeed. Look, the green bar's decreasing over the line. Give Mashayel, and what's she done in terms of the times? It's a 106.659.
Okay, we did not improve. Let's keep the yellow and go to the milling.
And that's not what she wants to hear. We did not improve. But the good news is, like Rafa, Alula and Drogba, Aoki still have another lap to go. Miami in the meantime. I'm sure Patricia's just sorting herself out. There she is. Patricia Peter, we're looking down on her. 2 more laps to go. This is the end of her 2nd of 3 laps now. As you've already said, Shelley, she's looking to try and find as much time as she possibly can. Very much in at the deep end here. She's lost some momentum as well, hasn't she, coming out of that last corner. However, on the combined times, Miami have just about done enough to be inside that combined top 5.
1:10.9. We need to shave a couple seconds, Pato. We need 2-3 more seconds. But
yeah,
good job.
sector 3. Rest of it.
She's so calm, isn't she? I mean, we see some of the regular pilots getting a little bit hot and bothered. Not at all for Patricia here.
I think when it's your first time out and you're new into the E1 RaceBird and the E1 series. I guess she just wants to listen to all of the help and advice that everyone is giving her and just put it into practice, really. That's what her goal is this weekend. So she looked like she had a concentration face to me.
Shelley, we talk about the boost all the time and how important it is and not using it too aggressively because we've seen the pitch of the RaceBird change. What about when you come off the boost? Does that not affect the overall balance as well?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not ready to come off the boost, basically, if you, as you come off the boost or the boost runs out, you have to be ready to grab the RaceBird in if there's a word to describe it, so that the bow doesn't drop and you just drop to the surface, and that is a massive skill. That is a huge skill. When you see a RaceBird gliding on boost, and then as the boost comes off and the bird doesn't move, and the RaceBird just literally carries on gliding, doesn't drop down, that is perfect driving.
Has been a tricky time though for Drogba, just one podium so far, and that was third back at Doha in Qatar. They finished sixth for 3 races in a row, having to go through the place race, although the stats are good for them because they do tend to win the place race every single time they go through that. But it is one more uncertainty you just don't need in the weekend, and if you have to go into the place race, it messes up your order as well because the teams try to program it that they want their strongest pilot in the final, but as you can see for yourself, they've aborted that lap and lost a lot of time as Rafa get going again. This now then is the final effort of the session for Rafa. Alula at the top of your screen on a particularly strong lap, which is why we cut back to the green and gold RaceBird now. So what are we going to see from Alula with Andre Solvang? This is a great performance. He might be a second off Tom Schaap, but he's ahead of Michael Wilkinson. He's ahead of Mashay El Alabadan, who are regulars here in E1. Perfectly on the boost, just runs out before the line. And his time at the moment, look at that, he's gone fastest. A 1:05.4. He's found nearly 2 seconds in comparison with his previous best. What a great run.
That was a superb run, and as you said, Greg, he is up and coming in all sports, and definitely in the powerboat world across all the classes.
Well, that was phenomenal. Now it means that Rafa, who were leading by a second, are now 9/10 off. Rafa trying to respond here with Tom Schaap. I have to say, he gets so close to the smart marks. It's beautiful to watch the French pilot. Now, is this going to be enough, or is it not? Because they've lost time after the first sector, heading towards the line now then for Rafa Nadal's team, and yes, a 1:05.3, so they retake the advantage on a 1:04.3, I should say now, which is another 1.1 seconds up.
He literally maximised the boost there all the way to the finish line and pushed himself up back up to the top. He is well chuffed. Well done, Tom.
Allez, did you hear him saying there in French? It's the sort of French version of let's go, or vamos, as you hear the Spanish pilot saying. Well, allez indeed, because a 1:04.3 now for Tom Schaap puts him back to the top of the session. I think he's relatively pleased with that, and so is Chris Lazaraga. Isn't it amazing, the difference in emotions? They were all in tears, weren't they, back at Monaco with the collision. Look, I think Chris is close to tears here as well, but for the right reasons this time, Chris. Okay, that's their last lap completed, and on the combined timesheets now, it is Rafa from Aoki by 1.2 seconds. So Rafa are done, and so are Alula, but Drogba, Aoki and Miami still have one more lap in this session. Not too much time remaining, just under 4 minutes, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. And remember, this is a new boat as well for Rafa, so they're about to get everything sorted out, even down to the steering wheel position, the seat position, make it feel as much like their original RaceBird as possible. And Tom knows how well he did there, didn't he? As you said, Shelley, he was beautifully timed on the boost as well. Just used it, capitalised beautifully there. As everyone else gets ready in the milling area. Who is going to be next? It looks as though it's Miami with Patricia Peter on board. This is the young rookie, the 36-year-old from Uruguay, rally driver. This was never going to be easy, but every lap is more data and more information for her. She certainly seems more aggressive on the start of the lap, doesn't she, compared to what she did? The confidence is building now.
I would say that is very much more confident. And it's like anything, you do have to get used to it. It's such a team effort, the E1 series. You know, as you've just said, when do you use the boost, the strategy, the team behind you talking to you? It's not just that pilot sat in the RaceBird. It is a real team effort from everybody, and very important to get the whole strategy and the setup correct. Losing a little bit there, just porpoising down into the water, but it looks like a better lap, I think. Are we on a better lap, Greg?
Yeah, definitely. Personal best in the first sector on a 19.3, a 30 flat through the second sector, and that matches the likes of Azerbaijan from earlier on. So absolutely, Shelley, a much better lap so far. Progress is being made here. We can see it for ourselves. Yes, out of that second and third sectors, and over the line will come Miami. And what do they do for this particular session? A 109.9.
Okay, back to launch zone,
yeah,
back to launch
Patricia
zone
has found some big time there, a 109.6.
After the orange boy.
Back to launch zone after the orange boy. All of these procedures she's having to go through for the first time. Great communication there from Team Miami. Don't forget they're racing at home when we get to Florida at the end of the season next month.
I thought it was a good lap time.
It was the best one.
It was the best one for you on the weekend, so it's a 109.6. Next is Aoki, 108.6.
Ah, Patricia, don't be too hard on yourself. It was a good lap time. You've got to start somewhere. She's annoyed, she's disappointed, but that's nice to see, isn't it, Shelley? Because she knows she wants more. She knows more is probably possible, but I mean, she has improved in that session by about 4, 5, 6 seconds compared to what we saw earlier on, so you can't really ask for more than that at this point, and they are, as you can see at the moment, in the top 5 of the combined teams.
I think she's done brilliantly well there. I mean, but it's so lovely to see the passion. She's, you know, she wants to win. She's a true racer. She wants to win. She wants to be in the top 3.
Yeah, really nice. It just makes you wonder whether she might be a full-time competitor here in E1 with Miami, or even one of the new teams for next season. Look, it's a bit of a struggle to get that RaceBird back into the launch zone, isn't it? Quite a lot of movement now on the water. I don't know whether that's going to be affecting everyone. I'm sure it will.
Again, that's something, you know, it doesn't help you win points, but just getting the RaceBird back into the launch zone, it's all something that she's learning, and she's got a lot on her plate this weekend, so I think she's done great.
Okay, here we go again with Micah Wilkinson for Drogba. They are one of only 2 teams now, along with Aoki, who are waiting in the background to get another lap in. Aoki's going to have to get going soon if they don't have an issue and they're still out there, because there's only 15 seconds left on the clock. I don't think Aoki are out there. They've gone back, haven't they? Well, there's Mishael Abadan on the right-hand side, but are they going to get going? Because they're running out of time. Look, 5 seconds to go. Danny Kloss watching on. I don't know whether they've got a problem, because they're clearly not going to get this lap in, are they? Because the finish of the session is now, so I don't know whether they've had a team communication error or a problem.
Oh, that didn't look too hot.
Are you copying me on the channel? Sorry, Matty, I don't understand.
Yeah, that doesn't look great there. Danny Kloss looking extremely unhappy. Very experienced team here. We've got Ragesh there, the team principal. He's actually from the Dubai police, believe it or not.
Here come Drogba in the meantime. They are 3rd in this session and 3rd overall. Can they improve their time? They're currently on a 107.9 and they remain on a 107.9. That was not an improvement for Micah Wilkinson from New Zealand, but for now it is enough. The question, of course, is going to be when the likes of Westbrook and co, who are in the lower 4 of your graphic on the left-hand side, get back out there, how much of a shuffle are we going to see?
Get back in, but we don't want to risk you having a yellow card, so when we tell you to go, you need to go straight to the milling. But you can wait now for a bit. Matthew, just simply tell me, what did I do wrong? Because I did everything.
Oh dear. Not sure what's going on there, but we'll try and find out later. Seems there seemed to be a slight miscommunication with Team Aoki.
Yeah, we'll have to try and get to the bottom of that one. Let's jump on board though now, or elsewhere in the field, because Tom Schaap was absolutely rapid. Tom, well done. What confidence. We heard your reactions. Allez, allez. I'm not surprised. That was a really, really good lap.
Yeah, the reaction was, I was a bit surprised because this weekend started difficult for us. We have some problem with the steering wheel and the balance of the boat, so we're struggling a bit. and the team works really, really hard to understand what's happened because it's not our boat. So yeah, we make a good lap, so I'm happy, but the weekend is not done yet.
Tom, have you had much time to actually dial in the new boat this weekend or the previous before you got to Lagos?
Yeah, it's a really different boat. I mean, we just get it this weekend, so now we try to understand how it works, so we discover it a bit. So we try to adjust the setting as we want, but now it's a really good time of trial, and let's see for the qualification race. Vamos!
Hello, vamos!
Vamos indeed.
Much. Fantastic. Well, I'm not surprised he's pleased. They're only 1 point behind, aren't they, in the championship, Shelley? I'm loving this. The energy we're getting from this team. And Rafa, if you are watching, wherever you are in the world, and I'm sure you will be, you no doubt are enjoying this as well. You know, they've got a great chance of even taking the championship lead, Shelley, today when we get through later to the qualifying races, because in the nicest possible way for them, Brady are suffering trouble, aren't they? So every single session, never mind every event or every day, every single session seems to throw up drama in 2025, and it's almost impossible to know what's going to happen here in E1, but it's great.
Well, are we going to get Brady out in the next quali session? This is the big question. I feel I need to phone an engineer friend of mine and find out how long it takes to change a gearbox.
This isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can't phone a friend while we are live on air, but we might be able to get down to Saunders CB in a bit to see what's happening down there. But no, if you do get any messages in, Shelley, by all means share that, because they are under pressure, aren't they, at the moment? Right, speak of the devil, Saunders, down to you.
Andre, you've certainly been making a name for yourself in the F4, F2 worlds, and now already doing it well in E1. Just narrowly, just behind Tom Chapp, who we know is very quick when it comes to E1.
Yeah, no, it was a really good session. I felt like I did what I could with minimal time in the boat. I'm very happy with the results. Of course, to be P1 and then get it stolen away sucks, but good job to Tom. He's really quick as well. So I'm really happy with the position, and I'll really take it, and I hope we can do well the rest of the weekend.
Certainly from our point of view here, you looked incredibly smooth on this fastest part of the course. How difficult is it to get that smoothness in the RaceBirds?
Yeah, for sure, really hard. I think that's where we've been the strongest this weekend on the Sector 1. So I just tried a different lift and really pushed on the straight, so it felt good. Really hard, but I think I managed quite well to keep it on the foil.
Looking forward to seeing what else you can do. Thanks, Andre.
Thank you so much.
Well done, Captain. Thank you very much, Andre, who, as we said, is training to become a ship captain. And thank you to Saunders as well. The last group then will be out there very shortly. advantage on a 1.
Putain, tu pouvais pas le faire avant.
Allez!
Wow, things are really hotting up here at the first ever E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. This is great. This is round 6 of 7 for 2025. Shelley, Jury Lee and Greg Haynes are with you here in the commentary box. Saunders CB is down there with all of the pilots and team technicians bringing us the latest, whether it's weather conditions, we've had some technical problems, not quite collisions, but we have seen 2 mini races already, both involving Brazil. This, though, now is by far the most important moment of the day because we've had 3 sessions so far for these qualifying time trials. After this last one, we'll know which 5 teams on combined best times for each of their pilots are into the top qualifying race where points are available. Blue Rising, Brazil, Brady, championship leaders with issues so far, and Westbrook, who are leading the way. And start as you mean to continue then with Westbrook. This is Sarah Price. The American Lucas Ordóñez, her teammate, the Spanish pilot, has already done an absolutely splendid job in his outing earlier on. There is Lucas on the right-hand side, but what now is Sarah going to do? You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, they're still highlighted with a blue position number because they haven't yet got their second time in, but that will be coming up very shortly.
It wants to pull to the right very badly.
Oh, they're aborting already.
It's making a noise like it's going in and out of gear, like a
That's a very good description there, Sarah, well done. Yeah, she said it was pulling badly to the right. She was, so something isn't right there if she's having to sort of, it's a bit like, you know, when you've got a wheel going out on your car and you're sort of dragging it down on one side to keep it straight. So she's got issues, but I just wanted to point out as well, there was no Brady out there.
Well spotted, Shelley. They had an issue earlier on with Brady, didn't they, when Emma Kimmerleinen was out there. They've already said to Saunders that they've been having gearbox problems, so will we see Sam Coleman or not? They are leading the championship. Brazil get away, sorry, Shelley.
And I've also got top information for you that it basically is a good 20-30 minutes to change your gearbox if you're used to it. So I wonder how their pit crew is.
Well, I need to work that out if someone can go and check it, but it doesn't feel like it's been 30 minutes quite, maybe just about getting to that since Saunders was chatting with them earlier on. Wow, Brady really are up against it now then as we join Brazil, and a new name for us here. For Brazil, they have Timmy Hansen back in action, but we don't have Marit Stromoy here. She's busy elsewhere. So this is now the pilot from Latvia. This is Java Milere Hagen for the first time ever. And let's see how she is faring on the combined times. They're outside the all-important top 5, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. So if Java's best on combined time can get her through into the top 5, Brazil will be overjoyed. Not being the easiest of seasons for them so far. 8th, 9th, 8th, a disqualification at Lago Maggiore, and then finally breaking their duck with a podium. And they were very relieved about that with a new boat at the time, last time out in Monte Carlo. And crucially, they are ahead of Miami, Drogba and Alula, and that moves them on the combined timesheets for now, I stress for now, up into 3rd place. This is Sarah Mizir, the pilot from Jamaica. You can hear the wind picking up as well from some of our microphones there as we look down from the 12th floor of the Black Diamond Hotel here in Lagos, and they sure enough have aborted as well. That's why they are off that dotted line. Look, that's the main course, the main lap here, and they're heading their way back to the milling area as well. I don't think I can remember, you know, in all seasons so far, as many aborted laps, Shelley, in the qualifying time trials. I mean, we've had a few issues, but not quite as many as we've seen so far today.
Well, Westbrook have obviously got a problem and have gone back in. Now, to me, the course is completely clear, calm, flat. This would be the time to actually go out there. And here we have, as I predict, here's Westbrook going out to do a qualifying lap when there's very few boats and traffic out there.
Yeah, and look at that. At the moment, they're absolutely equal on time with Miami, but of course it wouldn't count because that's only including Lucas's time, and he's already seen a moment. We're looking at Lucas, but he's already seen, and you could hear the banging noise in the background. That's the hull of the boat. Oh, it's happening again, and they're losing time every single time that happens when it drops down off the hydrofoils and onto the hull of the RaceBird itself. Lucas watching on, there's nothing more he can do. It must be a bit of a horrible feeling, actually. Sarah Price rounds the smart marks at turn 1, and we'll get the first sector time. I'm looking very closely at our timing screen. It's a 20.5, but that is some way off what Yava did with the Brazil boat. That's, yeah, well over 2 seconds off, so it's not been a clean start. But Lucas already knew that, didn't he? They were losing momentum and therefore speed. Lucas watching on, bottom of your screen. He's not worried, he's not panicking at this point because this is only the first of 3 laps for Sarah. And I suppose also, Shelley, Lucas knows that he did such a good lap first time round, it takes a little bit of pressure off his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it does take a little bit of time to get into the swing. That first lap, just get back on it, get into the mode. Maybe she's going to go for one straight away. That's what I would do. I would go straight away for my second lap. Now especially when the course is so clear and clean, go while you're trying to get in there. That's actually quite a good move.
Yeah, the timing system just updating itself, and they shoot up to second on the combined time. So Sarah fastest in this session on a 1:07.0. Feels like the conditions might be deteriorating a bit, but look, Lucas not at all pleased.
It's interesting, he's saying she's over pushing. I must admit, it didn't seem our normal Sarah style there. In the straight, she was beautifully gliding it, but in the corners, she did seem to be struggling a bit with the foil dropping into the water, just as we see there, which is, again, we know over and over, that loses us time, speed, seconds, crucial seconds.
No, I don't know whether Blue Rising felt they'd gone too early here or whether they have a problem, because clearly, look, they're crossing the line, and this will now register as a lap for Sarah Mizir, but clearly ditching that one. Is there actually a problem, I wonder, for Team Blue Rising? This is the team who won, don't forget, last time out in Monte Carlo. Clearly looking for space, seems to be wiggling the RaceBird around a little bit from right to left.
They're not driving through the signs, by the way. They're just graphics, anyone watching at home. Yeah, we seem to have so much drama going on here. What is going on in this session?
No, and the setup here is amazing. Yeah.
Confusion seems to reign, doesn't it, so far? But we talked about the celebrity team owners and the guests who would be appearing here across the race weekend, and it is Virat Kohli who heads the proceedings at Team Blue Rising, with Alejandro Agag there, who oversees not just Formula E, but also here at E1 as well, and Extreme E/Extreme H now as it moves into a new era. And they are expectant of a good result here at Lagos. But Blue Rising clearly with an issue, and they don't yet have a second time in, so they're down there in 8th place. We're still waiting for news on Brady as well. We were expecting at least half an hour for a gearbox change for them, but that's at least half an hour. So this is going to completely shake things up, isn't it, in the championship standings? The clock continuing to count down. Bottom left of your screen, we are into the last 8 minutes. And the latest we are hearing from Saunders and the team down there is that Brady are not yet in the water. If they're going to crane them into the water, it's going to need to be ASAP, otherwise they're not going to make it, and they're going to be down there in 9th place, and it means they will not be into the all-important top 5 for when points are available. Rafa certainly are. We might see, and probably will see, the championship lead change before the end of the day.
Certainly going to make Miami exciting.
It is indeed. It's going to make the rest of this weekend exciting as well, isn't it, with people having to find time. I guess also, Shelley, it's not just bad news in terms of the times, but Brady aren't out there because all these laps serve as practice time, don't they, garnering data. The less time you're in the water, obviously, it's less data. And look at Westbrook.
Properly dug in there, and it looks like now she is really struggling on those corners to get it round on the foils, and Lucas in the bottom right hand corner, he's Oh, he's saying good. He's happier with this.
That looks good.
You would think he would be on the radio as well, chatting to her like some of the other teams are, which is, because I think that's a great idea that both the pilots talk to each other, because you both know what you're experiencing, don't you?
Lucas seems very pleased with this so far, doesn't he? I don't know whether the wind's picking up, Shelley. It's up to 24 kilometres per hour now, but can they find that necessary tenth they need? They need just shy of 0.2 of a second. Yes is the answer by 32 thousandths of a second. Westbrook racing now on combined time. You'll see that update, and the red flag now then is out again.
The milling area. You
Here
did
at
finish
Lagos.
that lap, so that was fastest of the session. It was a
Why have we got a red flag, I
1:06.67.
asked myself.
A 1:06.67. The next
Course seems
fastest
pretty
is
empty,
still
Greg,
Brazil
so I'm
with
not
a
quite sure what's gone on
1:09.
there.
So nice job dropping a second there. That was good work.
And same here, red flag, all boats to milling area. I'm just looking at the data provided on our timing information. As you can see, the graphic on the left has now updated, and by just 0.03 of a second, it's Westbrook from Rafa. This could really close the championship up by the end of the weekend. We'll see. It is survival of the fittest, because it felt at the time as though half of the field didn't even manage to get to the finish for any decent points last time out in Monte Carlo. But no, I'm with you. I don't know why we have a red flag. We heard the team radio there from Phil communicating with Sarah. Nothing obvious on the screen at the moment. There's no problem with a pilot or a RaceBird. That's the main thing. It's nobody's safety is in jeopardy. That's by far the most important thing. But there's clearly some sort of hazard out there on the course at the moment that the organisers aren't happy with, so they've thrown the red flag.
I think we may have a little bit of debris out there on the course, Greg. So obviously they want to pull the RaceBirds in just for the moment, just to clear that, because that would seriously do some damage to one of the foils.
Well, certainly Sebastiano Pelleccia, who is the race director, has access to all of the different camera angles in front of him in mission control. They're all up on the 12th floor of the hotel. Green flag now then, so it didn't last long, and the session is back underway already. So whatever that was may well have been some debris, has been cleared, and Brazil shoots straight for the start line with Java Mileri Hagen on board, the new pilot coming into E1 from Latvia. Such an easy livery to spot as well, isn't it, the Brazil boat? This was a new boat for them, a new RaceBird from Monaco last time out, following the collision they had, the big collision they had back at the previous round at Lago Maggiore in Italy. Down into turn one. As we said before, the wind speed's picked up a little bit now to just shy of 24 kilometers per hour. Brazil are fourth overall, as you can see on the graphic on the left-hand side of your screen. In this particular session, they are second. So let's see what Java can do with those combined times. Her own best with Timmy Hansen's best, which has already been submitted, but they've ditched the lap. They've gone on the long loop down the back straight, so that one's gone. Back with Blue Rising and Sarah Mizir, and they, on the combined timesheets, have work to do, because they're down in 8th place at the moment.
And the time is ticking down. We're down to the last 4 minutes. So I think, yes, we have definitely lost Brady, which is an absolute, it's just shattering for that team to have not made it through the qualifying trial sessions. And yeah, just devastating.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Shelley, but they mention gearbox troubles, whether it's a breakage or whatever. Is that often related to the way the RaceBird is actually being piloted, or is it more likely because of a strike with some debris or finger trouble from a mechanic? Could it be a legacy of something from Monaco? I mean, does it tend to usually be a problem more than something the pilot's actually done? Can a pilot cause a gearbox problem, as it were?
Not really, no, not in an E1 RaceBird. I would say it could well be one of a damage from Monaco. I think a Monaco legacy, as you just called it.
I think, as we said, I seem to remember us saying at the time, I think it was only one or maybe two teams who actually didn't have a problem in Monaco last time out. Well, what drama here, just under 4 minutes to go. Saunders, it's all yours.
Yeah, Greg, yeah, just thought I'd just check something and report something. I'm seeing the Team Brady RaceBird being craned into the water. Now, obviously, we do only have 3.5 minutes left of this session, so technically speaking, if they do get permission from the race director, they could take part in this session. It was Emma that told me herself earlier that they were aiming to get on for the qualifying race, not the groups. So let's see if they can beat this race against time and they get the permission. It's very touch and go.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. Thank you very much indeed, Saunders. This is going to be nip and tuck if this is going to happen, because we've got 3 minutes, surely not, 3 minutes and 5 seconds left. But they're going to try, aren't they? But we're running out of time, Shelley. We're fast running out of time. In the meantime, Westbrook, as you can see, are out there. The order is Westbrook leading, Rafa second, Aoki is third. Then it's Brazil and Drogba. So Aluna now dropped down into 6th place from Blue Rising and Miami. Brady, the only outfit yet to get in a time with both of their pilots. Westbrook already looking to have the best lane position for the qualifying race, and critically as well, it would be the second of the 2 qualifying races later, and that's the one when points will be available. 3 for the winner, 2 for second, and 1 for third. I hate to say things like this, but Westbrook look as though they are on rails at the moment. I don't want to jinx it, but here comes Sarah Price, the American, heading toward the line. Are we going to see any improvement in the times? 106.5 now. Their combined best is a 105.2.
So it was a 106.567. Brazil a second with a 109, and Blue Rising a third with a 110. Brady didn't come out this session, so nice one. We went fastest. Good job.
That's exactly what Sarah wants to hear. Big gap as well, back to second place in this session of almost 2.5 seconds. So this is a replay. Look at Sam Coleman.
But Greg, also, we've got Sam Coleman sprinting into the boat. Literally, look at him. He's got to jump. He's got to put a full harness on once he's in there, find his air. That's quite a big setup once you get into these boats and just actually sit into the cockpit. But that's Brady rushing out. We've got Brazil. They are only on their 2nd lap, and Team Blue Rising have only done 1 lap in this session. So we've had all sorts of drama going on.
You can say that again. Brady are on the move, we're hearing. So great call from Saunders. We thought you might be a little bit over optimistic, but Brady, look, on board, and we're actually getting back out. Would you believe it? But he's got to get round in time, hasn't he, to start a flying lap. 1 minute left on the clock, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. But this could be absolutely pivotal for the outcome of E1 of 2025. Now he's in a race against time, Shelley, because he needs to get round in time to start the flying lap. 48 seconds to go. This is going to be so close.
Well, if anyone can pull a lap out of the bag, it is Sam Coleman. This is when his experience and his coolness will play. This is very hard to do.
And don't forget, they've repaired the gearbox as well. He's taking the alternative loop. Look, he's got to get around the left-hander. He's got 26 seconds to go. This is going to be so tight. If he misses it, it's going to be by fractions. 20 seconds to go. No, he's not going to do it, is he? Look, is he going back to the milling area? Or is he going to have to go back to the milling area? He might have to check the rule book on this one. He's not going to get through on time, is he? And Brady can't believe it. What an effort from the team to get the RaceBird out there. 5 seconds there. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have not made it in time.
Just
Boost on.
By the sake of about, what, 5 seconds, they have just missed out. Would you believe it? He had to go up to the milling area. Well, I tell you what, though, for the sake of the championship, this is really, really going to shake things up now, not least with Westbrook leading from Rafa and Aoki. I've got to say, though, well done, Brady, because that was an incredible effort, and it seems as though the RaceBird's running smoothly as well, with the gearbox sorted, or a new gearbox on board. This is Blue Rising with Sarah Mizir, third at the moment in this particular session. We're coming up to the last left-hander now.
But only their 2nd lap, Greg, so why did they not do 3?
Have they had a problem as well, I wonder, unless they felt they got held up by something earlier on? But it's been a really confusing few qualifying time trials here. How are they faring? Look for Team Blue Rising on the left-hand side. It usually takes a few seconds to update. They've just done a 109.141. In terms of combined times, it is not enough because it's 7th and they needed to be inside the top 5. Well, definitely don't go away because we've got the qualifying races coming up in a short time when points will be available, and Brady are having a bit of a nightmare here so far at E1 Lagos. What a surprise. Well, let's just take stock and see if we can actually unravel what's just gone on there in those qualifying time trials. Westbrook looking very smooth and confident, Shelley. That's the first thing I would say. I thought Lucas in particular was brilliant, and it took some pressure, didn't it, off Sarah here as well, taking nothing away from Sarah because she also put in a brilliant time. So close though, just 88 thousandths of a second on combined times across the 4 pilots of Westbrook and Rafa. That's all it was. Aoki definitely in contention. Bit of a puzzling end there to the proceedings for Team Blue Rising, but they were so close because if you look at Drogba, who were 5th, it was less than a second back to Alula, less than 2/10 then back to Blue Rising, so that was all it was that made the difference, and Brady will be gutted. I suppose in some ways they've got nothing to lose now. They still have the championship lead and no points will be given out until those qualifying races occur later on. But they know they're not going to be able to score points here on Saturday. All they can do is try to win their qualifying race and get a good lane position for the Saturday group stages. Saunders.
Lucas, Sarah, congratulations. Incredible laps put in there. In what is such fine margins here in Lagos?
Yeah, that was tight. I was looking at the lap times. I was like screaming at Sarah to push, and that was tight in the end with Team Rafa. But it's our first pole position, so we are really proud for Westbrook Racing, first pole position here in Lagos. So really proud of our job. We've been fast during the whole weekend, and now we have to make the best as we can in the starts and for the races and quali race today.
Sarah, you said to me earlier, this is something you've been pushing for as a team. How does it feel to have got the job done today?
It feels good to have our pace back. You know, Lucas was absolutely flying today. He had a little bit more pace than I did today. So the conditions have been very variable. You know, it's been really windy and gusts of wind come in, and when you're flying, it's not the best for the RaceBirds. So it's been challenging for sure, but he just aced it. Like, I have the best teammate. I'm super grateful. I'm so pumped for our team, and to have this feeling to be back and kind of know we're back into the pace is you know, ecstatic, because yeah, last year we had it for sure. This year we've just had a lot of issues, and so now we're finally getting a smoother ride.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well
Sarah, who's competed, would you believe, on horses before doing E1. I'm stubborn with a cutthroat mentality, she always says. Well, we saw plenty of it there. Westbrook leading the way.
Yeah, but then she drinks up more and then the boat does bam. Good, Sarah. Good. Yes. That looks good.
So, Will Smith's Westbrook Racing leading the way. You can see their number one on the right-hand side of your screen, and that will be the second of the two qualifying races coming up in just over 25 minutes from now. Don't go away, because there's plenty of drama ahead of us when points will be available. Will we see Rafa, I wonder, jumping ahead of Brady? It's very likely, as they're only 1 point behind, and Brady will not be able to score points in their qualifying race later on. We will be back with you very shortly at 5 minutes past the hour, which will be 5:05 here in Nigeria. Ah, look at that, tears there. Tears of joy, it has to be said, because they know what an effort they did at Brady. And if they can perform well like that under pressure, it does bode well with the whole weekend still ahead of us, and then the finale in Miami. But definitely, Kimalainen on your right and Coleman on the left have work to do here. It couldn't have gone much worse in terms of positions, but at least the RaceBird is working, we think. That was crucial, actually. Even though Sam didn't get a lap time in, he did get out there to check the RaceBird was okay, and that's very, very important as we soak up the atmosphere here at the Ocean Club. We'll be back in about 20 minutes' time for the qualifying races.